Are your insecurities showing? You're a leader and need people to follow and trust you, yet you don't trust yourself. You're smart, but indecisive and self-doubting. You might try to mask it by acting tough, occasionally putting others down, albeit in a joking way. Instead, you might seek to be liked, a people pleaser who also avoids conflict and tries to keep the peace. You're worried that especially those above you will see your weakness and your promotion opportunities will be limited. You might have to rely on other less noble means to stay in your role. You've made it this far and don't want to lose ground or lose face. All is not lost. Let's explore some approaches to mitigate your insecurities. Hi, I'm Jenny Clark, a conscious leadership expert who spent 2 decades in executive recruiting and talent management. Having worked with giants like Google, Spencer Stuart, I discovered that the secret to transformative leadership lies in the 5 dimensions of conscious leadership. And I'm here to help you unlock your full potential. Join me on this channel as we embark on an honest and vulnerable journey together to become the kind of leader that genuinely inspires organizational transformation. I have a few ways you can get involved in this conscious community. First, I've created a free career map to help you uncover your next career move. Second, I've created exclusive content for you with a community of like-minded leaders. And lastly, I send out a free newsletter every week. To learn more, check out the description of this video. It's important to acknowledge that everyone, including leaders, may grapple with insecurities and self-doubt from time to time, if not chronically. Leadership doesn't mean being completely free from these feelings, but rather learning to manage them effectively. Now, I don't want to sound boastful, but as a leader, I've never suffered from insecurities. As a more junior person and as an individual contributor, I question being able to compete internally and externally to hit my numbers and build a reputation for excellence. I eventually overcame these doubts by doing a lot of the things I'll be describing shortly, but as a leader, I had a great role model, a couple of them, especially my father, who led with vulnerability, steadfastness, integrity, and transparency. That requires that you are those things in your personal life, by the way. You can't be a hot mess in your home life and show up strong and confident at work. Now, a story on what not to do. I had a manager at one point in my career who on paper had achieved respectable heights in his career. He had been with several of the top firms in our space. Chris had managed a large office and joined my company to build a team. He hired me for all the right reasons. Our paths had crossed and he knew of my reputation for getting things done. Well, let's just say there were some gaps this man had. Functional knowledge, but was sorely lacking in leadership competencies. A common malady. He was likable, but failed at setting a clear vision or earning trust. Staff meetings included mandates that had been passed down by his upper management, but with little explanation on how he might have advocated for additional resources or information on the rationale for such action. The team grew quickly, making matters that much more challenging. Chris was good at delegating, but often without accountability, and in some cases to people whose managerial and leadership skills were completely untested. Structurally, things should have worked. The direct reports were in place. We directs met regularly to strategize on periodic off-site meetings. I began to notice that some of my peers, the other directs, seemed eerily more like Chris than me, namely that they had similar insecurities that showed up as needing to be liked, weak decision-making and communication skills as in poor feedback. Now, feeling like I'm on a bit of an island, my team had grown and was doing well. I did the best I could to support Chris, who was only ever grateful for my efforts, insights, and occasional advice. I never tried to undercut him, but I did have to acknowledge to a few inquiring team members that they were reading him right. There were dynamics above Chris that made it so I could not go to his manager, let's just say. To mitigate the conflict avoidance Chris fell victim to, I picked my battles and weighed in when I thought the well-being of the team was threatened by one or more team members' bad behavior. In the end, there was a reorganization that shuffled us all around and some of us out. Chris landed on his feet and hopefully as a better leader. I continue on my leadership journey with eyes wide open, and the reminder that being in a leadership role doesn't make you a leader. You guys see this confident, put together person, but you need to know that I've worked on myself for decades. Here are some strategies to address insecurities and self-doubt while maintaining your leadership standing. Authenticity and vulnerability. Instead of masking your insecurities with toughness or humor, consider embracing authenticity and vulnerability. And when I say vulnerability, I don't mean bare your soul, but acknowledge things you might be working on to be the best leader possible. It can build trust with your team. Negative self-talk. Please pay attention to your self-talk and work on reframing negative thoughts. Replace self-criticism with self-encouragement and positive affirmations. Consider putting an affirmation or two on your calendar first thing in the morning or before you go to bed to place it into your awareness, subconsciously even. Conflict resolution skills. Develop your conflict resolution skills to address issues constructively and avoid bottling up concerns. This also goes a long way to instill confidence in your decision-making practices. Role models. Find mentors or role models who have faced similar challenges and can provide guidance on overcoming self-doubt. Don't suffer in silence and allow these feelings to fester and worsen. You're not alone, and trusting in someone who has had these issues is a great first step in mitigating them. Imposter syndrome. If you experience imposter syndrome, where you doubt your abilities despite evidence of competence, recognize it as a common phenomenon and seek strategies to overcome it, including therapy. If your self-doubt or insecurities significantly impact your well-being and leadership, consider seeking professional help. Here's what I want you to take away from this whole conversation. Remember that acknowledging and addressing your insecurities is a sign of strength, not weakness. Many successful leaders have faced and overcome self-doubt on their leadership journeys. By adopting these strategies, you can work towards building confidence and trust in yourself as a leader without resorting to unproductive behaviors. Now get on out there and lead with confidence. I know firsthand how taking that first step can be the catalyst for a life-changing transformation. I remember the moment I decided to harness my own strengths, and it made all the difference in my career. That's why I've created a career mapping tool just for you to help you uncover your unique competencies and leverage them to design your own career map. Take the first step towards your next level by clicking the link in the video description, and let's start this incredible journey together.